You then have Ezreal that can just hold the wave and play very defensive. And when you watch back at how they played, it was all thanks to Betsy and how he enabled that split push to come into fruition. You kind of check out how often when he's moving in a side lane, applying pressure down towards the bottom side of the map, the enemy team is forced to react depending on where he's putting this pressure. And very quickly on the minimap, you can see multiple members of Giants pressuring towards the Baron. The split push pressure is coming down towards the bot. And the moment members of Misfits appear to try and shut down Betsy, they don't have teleport to join in the fight, which means that Misfits are stuck in a situation where they have to go in a 2 versus 4 to try and shut down this Baron against Giants. They're not able to do it. Giants very quickly turn this into a kill in their favor. After they grab themselves a couple of kills, they then turn it back towards the Baron and secure this big objective. And because Betsy played it so well, he even survives and TPs back in to help the team secure it. None of this would have been possible if it weren't for these two men on your screen. Not only did Betsy play the split push extremely well, but Joko's early game impact, where he found early leads and set up these split pushes for success, is what enabled this team to come out on top. Now we have to look at the upcoming schedule, and you can see it truly would be a miracle run if Giants found a way to make it to playoffs. Their first contender is none other than the current top dogs in Europe, Fnatic, where they are rejoined by their all-star player Reckless. Speaking of, let's send it over to Shugs and Officio to remind you why he is that all-star player.
Hey now, he is an all-star. Thank you for that fantastic breakdown of Giants Miracle Run so far. But no matter how interested I am in Giants, I am more interested in Fnatic right now because Reckless is back. It is a moment we've all been waiting for, two-time the back-to-back MVP. Now, he has been out of the team since week 1 of the summer split, coming back after the meta change, and that is really surprising if you look at the career he's had with Fnatic so far till then.
Yeah, I mean, Fnatic has built so many lineups around Reckless specifically. He's been the face of Fnatic for many years, ever since Expected left the team. He signs a 3-year contract coming into the year, and then we don't get to see him play a lot here in the summer split. So it really was surprising because last split, I feel like he had probably the best split of his.
Absolutely. Together with Caps, I think Reckless and Caps really formed the identity and formed the motor behind the success of Fnatic, and even led them to their first title since 2015 in Copenhagen.
And every single team that played against Fnatic said, yeah, if we ever go late game, we lose because Reckless is there. That's why he got MVP as well. He got the most votes by far in that voting here. So with Reckless and this player where we got so surprised he got benched after 1 week of playing poorly, but he didn't know what to play, and it was a huge issue for him.
Well, honestly, it turns out he benched himself, right? And I think if we track it also back to after lifting the cup in Copenhagen, Fnatic went to MSI and actually had a good performance, but Reckless himself did not do as well as he thought he would, or probably as the expectations he set on himself. He always wants to show that he's the best versus the best, and he didn't do that versus RNG and Uzi, and it seems that that kind of had a domino effect going all the way into summer.
He's the kind of player in interviews that always talks about how he wants to have an impact in every single game he plays, and when he doesn't have that impact, being against RNG where he's not winning his lane, or being it when he's playing Janna against Misfits in week 1, he doesn't feel like he's doing anything valuable for his team, and that's why he ended up subbing himself out, surprising all of us obviously that Fnatic lost one of the superstar players. But he's back now, more buffs to some of the AD carry items. Like, it feels like he wants to make a big statement today.
This is his moment, and I think a lot of that making a statement has to do with the fact that Fnatic didn't fail. Fnatic did fantastically without their superstar AD carry. Bwipo held his own with the mages in the bottom lane. It was all about Caps. It was all sunshine and roses, but now he's back.
He's back now, and it's so scary for other teams that Fnatic, without the best AD carry in Europe, can be number 1. Now they add the best AD carry in Europe. They again have a 6th player they can play with. I want to see what he plays in this game.
Yeah.
I want to see if he's on. Is he on the late game AD carry, or is he on utility?
Is he going to play Heimerdinger?
Do they put on Janna? Probably not. But like, I want to see AD carry Reckless so badly, and I want to see him do well in this game.
Same. A lot of pressure on his shoulders, just as much, because everyone is expecting him to come back with a bang. Reckless is here. Fnatic is on stage, but they face a tough challenge versus a strong Giants. Let's see if they can take the win.
Thank you very much, Shocks. Judging from today's performance of the top teams, it's a lot closer than I thought it would be. We've seen Misfits falter, we've seen G2 falter. Are Fnatic the next ones to falter?
Maybe. Giants, they're trying the Miracle One, man. I don't know, though, because they're against the final boss, and he came a little bit early, because Reckless is back in for Fnatic.
It's one of those games where you have like a really tough boss earlier, and then your build is just really OP by the end of the game, so you just, you demolish the end bosses, but the tough boss comes like 3 bosses before the end.
Yeah, before you've, farmed up, got all that experience under your belt.
Well, we'll have to see if Giants are able to farm up, maybe get some levels before their final week. If they do go 4-0, they still have a very real possibility of making it into playoffs. But the teams they've got to face, Fnatic, Schalke, G2 and Splice, so no easy feat for them.
Got a lot of tough matches coming up ahead of them, but right now Fnatic sitting in the top 2 in the league. You take these guys out, all the other matches maybe look a little bit easier here for Giants, but you can see Fnatic already targeting bans directly at them. We know Ruin's Rumble has been devastatingly good for the teams he's played against, and of course the Nocturne taking that away from Joko makes so he doesn't have that guaranteed kill gank when he hits level 6.
So now that you brought Reckless back into the team, you have to target ban him. I'm looking for the Janna ban, I'm looking for the Karma ban, the 2 things he's played in the ULCS.
Okay.
Really good,
Don't pick Janna. Don't do it, Fnatic. Don't do it to
Bring back Funnel!
No. All of these ideas are terrible.
Okay.
Get them out of your mind.
Okay.
But right now, I'm looking at these jungle bans on the blue side from Fnatic. That is something you definitely don't usually see. I mean, it would all get thrown out of the window if they locked in Pyke, but I feel like if Fnatic are putting Reckless on an AD carry that's not the Tristana, even if it was the Tristana, they're looking for later stages of the game. You want to get some items underneath your belt, but I'd also be excited to see a Fnatic that's willing to play through the early game, even after subbing Reckless into the roster.
And the early game has been their strength for the majority of the split, so giving Hylissang a roaming champion is what they've done so well.
I have to, remind everyone that the last time these 2 teams played, Sir Nuxalot was playing Zyra, and I've been informed that Zyra will be hovered in every role because he died 9 times in that matchup against Caps.
Joko knows what's up.
Yeah.
With the Janna.
I like Giants are keeping it light, of course. Janna.
With the Janna.
I like Giants are keeping it light, of course. Janna, highly contested pick with Reckless in the lineup. But Giants are gonna go with the Tom Kench. He doesn't play that.
What a shame. Okay, let's bring it back to seriousness. We've had our jokes. Reckless is back in. That's amazing for Fnatic if he can perform. And the reason we think he's going to be able to perform is the fact that AD carries are back at the top of the meta. A lot of AD carry itemization changes. Fnatic looking for an AD carry of
Here we go.
I mean, it's an AD carry, but it's Ezreal. And
hey, I'm excited for Ezreal too, especially when you have a Pyke at your side. Ezreal, he's there to clear waves, stay safe. Let's go! Another one!
I saw you, Perks! I saw you come styling on my top! I'm here!
Okay, this is great, because at the start of the day, we thought Akali was going to have a super high presence, picked bans all over the place. That didn't happen in our first 2 games, but now our 2 best mid laners in the league are picking it back to back. I can't wait, man!
We have to see what matchup it goes into, because we don't know if this Ryze is mid. It's probably mid. It could go up towards the top lane as well. They've locked in the Jhin, which means it's not going down towards that bottom side, but even picking something like Jhin into an Akali is a very brave move, considering she can dive onto you pretty easily.
That being said, with the Hail of Blades, Jhin moves so fast. He's got some protection with the Tom Kench as well. Just interesting to see that the bottom sides of the map have been decided so early. Even with a lot of jungle bans thrown around, Giants didn't feel the need to pick something up early here for Joko. With a Kindred ban and a Sejuani ban, I'm feeling like they're looking for something early on, like a Trundle pick here for Joko. Get him a safe jungler and save counter pick for Ruin.
Camille is there as well, so you could pick Camille and it leaves that flexibility up. If you want to play it in the top lane, you can. You can pick it early on this first pick on the second rotation. Fnatic deciding what they want to ban next here.
Of course, going to be the Poppy, take that one away from Ruin, because right now Giants lack reliable engage too. I feel like something like the Gragas we saw utilized in the last game would round out this composition a little bit better, but I think if you're looking for Joko, it has to be Trundle. He's the best available jungler at the moment, and unless Brox was going to go for some like damage-oriented jungler, probably not going to see that.
It's a good sport about it. Didn't have the best of performances last time he was there. It's not going to be an AD carry for him either. We're looking towards the top, and the jungle doesn't really matter what order they're picked in here. One going to be picked and then the second straight on afterwards. Elise.
See, we have a lot of questions about what this team looks like. Okay, Elise, another one of those champions that's been buffed in recent patches against the Trundle as well. This is one of the few junglers that can go toe-to-toe with him in a duel early on. You can't steal stats away from that Elise because she's building AP.
Now, I cast Boxer in the Challenger Series last year on Fnatic Academy when they got promoted and became Mysterious Monkeys. His Elise is godly. Like, it's next tier good. He mained this champion for a very long time. Very much looking forward to seeing how he combines with Hylissang on the Pike and with Caps on that Akali, roaming around the map, making those coordinated plays. We have the Ornn for Bwipo in the top lane, and Giants looking for their top laner as well.
I mean, Giants have counterpick. I think Kled, they're hovering right now. I think it's the best pick for them at the moment. Great matchup in the Ornn. You can shred down his stats, and it brings that heavy engage to the table. Of course, we did mention the Gragas earlier on. The Kled, not as much in the wheelhouse of Ruin. I feel like the Gragas will fit that role and give them the tools to start off a fight. But even then, I look at the side of Fnatic, there's some fairly mobile champions here. It's going to be difficult to make those abilities land true here on the side of Giants.
So we're looking at high mobility from Fnatic, maybe a bit of team fight, maybe a bit of pick in the early game as well with the roaming from the Pike, from the Elise.
It's definitely about pick here for Fnatic, splitting up fights, finding small engagements, some skirmishes here where not just the Akali can shine, but also the Pike. When he finds himself in a 1v or in a 2v2 or a 3v3, that's exactly the type of scenario he wants to be in, where he can dish out a lot of damage. Whereas the side of Giants, they've drafted more of a standard composition. They can scale a little bit better into the later stages of the game. They've got a beefy front line. They've got a Tahm Kench to protect their two carries. Game about the late game Kings a lot, but Giants, I feel like if they don't fall drastically behind early on, are going to be looking at a stronger late game 5 versus 5 than the side of Fnatic.
The question is, can you maintain against a team that is built to play the early game well? A team that has things like the Pike, like the Elise, like the Akali. A team that has Reckless back on its lineup.
And I mean, Reckless, I'm excited to see him play, but I'm more excited to see Caps on the Akali, especially the way this composition has been built here for Fnatic. Brox and Hylissang, I feel like you're going to be mid lane 24/7, looking for roams, looking for plays, trying to shut down Betsy, who's been a big carry force on the side of Giants in their recent wins.
Let's jump on to the Summoner's Rift. Some old faces turn into the Summoner's Rift for this game. Fnatic taking on Giants. Fnatic well in contention for that number 1 spot after seeing Misfits almost falter earlier on. They will feel like they are the best team in Europe. The question is, are they the best team in Europe now that Reckless is back? 2-time reigning EU LCS MVP, 3-time EU LCS champion, 5 pentakills in the EU LCS, and that doesn't count the first pentakill he got in spring finals, because it wasn't technically a pentakill.
But he's still playing out of his mind. Of course, crit marksman itemization coming back, maybe a factor in this, but also Reckless is playing Ezreal, so he's not going to be building any of these items. So he is back, not because of the patch, he's back because he feels confident in himself once again. I think trying to work him back into the roster, even though Fnatic haven't been playing with him as much as they have with Bwipo in the bot lane and so as in the top lane, for the long term is going to pay off so much for Fnatic.
I mean, as much as, yes, he's not going to play Crit Marksman this game, the fact that there were a lot of Crit Marksman open to him definitely helped him come back into this team.
And you have to remember, he went over to Los Angeles for Rift Rivals. You broke it down very well with
talked to Mark Merrill, was like, oh, mages.
Yeah, and Mark Merrill was like, no, get those out of here. We want marksman. And Giants want invade.
It would be invading straight to 3 members of Fnatic here. They put the ward down on the bush. The fight starts. Hylissang with the ghostly undertow. Joko low, ignite down. Caps coming in from the side as well. Joko has to flash, but Caps flashes away himself. Reckless dishing out the DPS from that backline on the Ezreal. Summoner's burn, Hylissang's ignite, Caps' flash, Nukesalot's flash, and Joko's flash.
I feel like there's a very similar experience that happened to Giants when they played against Fnatic the last time. Sir Nukesalot lost his flash at level 1 when he was playing the Zyra, and then died a lot of times in a row when Caps was playing a very high agency carry style of champion, like the Akali in this game. So we'll have to keep our eyes out on that bottom lane matchup. Of course, Sir Nukesalot is much safer in this matchup, but again, oh no, man.
I told you he's just so good at Elise. You know?
Oh my god, the Elise really played an impact there with the smite button. But yeah, this is what we're going to see out of this matchup from Broxah. Now it's when I think Broxah can get a little greedy after farming the Raptor camp. I think he goes topside, gets over for that second Scuttle Crab, because there's a nice ward that should spot out Joko. Actually just times out, so he's not going to know exactly where he is on the map to try and find another fight.
Cam's struggling a little bit on this mid lane matchup already. Only at 2 CS to the 12 from Betsy, and we talked a little bit about the rise into a Kali matchup, how when you get the Twilight Shroud on a Kali, you can dodge away from the rise because everything he has is a skill shot, but if you fall behind, it can be difficult.
Yeah, especially when you don't have flash at level 1. Betsy's playing super aggro in this lane. I love to see it out of him, trying to abuse this weak early game, weak laning champion that Caps went ahead and drafted for himself. And as I mentioned a bit in the draft, I think the key to this composition from Fnatic is how strong Caps can be. Right now, he's being put very far behind by Betsy's rise.
So we're looking at Broxah, 17-4 on Elise in the EU LCS. This has been long a stalwart champion for him. He's the guy that needs to set up Fnatic for success. Mid lane is really the key target as well, because Ezreal Pike, yeah, you can gank that lane, I guess, onto the Steelback. Maybe Broxah could go down there, but getting you a Kali ahead over getting your Ornn or your Ezreal ahead is so much more impactful.
Yeah, and specifically, we're going to look around the 7-minute mark. When the dual lanes go back for their first base, Hylissang has an opportunity to roam. That's when I think both Broxah and Tilly attack in that middle lane. But for now, I think Joko's doing a really good job putting down deep vision, trying to contain Broxah's Elise at the moment. And you can see he plays a lot around this middle lane compared to other junglers in the EU LCS. He needs to buy space for Betsy so that Betsy can eventually, blossom into that carry that Giants need him to be.
Looking for the scaling on that rise. Jungle proximity is the amount of time between 3 and 15 minutes you spend near your laners. As you can see, he's 4% above average for mid lane, almost 5% above average for the bot lane, 4.4, and a little bit behind average for the top lane, but no one really goes top. It's a bit of an island, I've heard.
Yeah, Ruin is just left on his island up there. And the Gragas, you don't need resources, you don't need gold, you don't need money, it's none of that. He's going to bring the utility to the fight. It's very similar to the Ornn in this case. If either jungler goes topside, it'd be very unlikely, but it would just be first turn or something like that.
I mean, it can still work.
Sure.
Getting a kill on your Gragas isn't a bad thing.
I mean, I'll take a kill anytime. But I'd rather have
sacrifice
Caps.
Depends what you give up.
I mean, if I just get something for free, like a kill, I'm going to take it.
Understandable. 20 CS lead though for Betsy in the mid lane. At the moment he is free farming. Hey, get it? That mid lane.
Nice.
Pushing away from Caps, who actually is really struggling to find an avenue into this fight.
He's down 23 CS right now.
Quite a bit.
More than double. So
there's the roam you talk from Hylissang. And do you want to know the thing about roaming as a support? It doesn't work that well when the enemy laner isn't there.
But Betsy does have TP, and right now Caps is trying to hold the wave to sort of bait Betsy in for that teleport.